Now, this is an interesting development. IBF Cruiserweight Champion Jay Opetaia has just signed a promotional deal with Matchroom. Now, bear in mind, he is currently in negotiations for a fight with his mandatory challenger, Richard Riakporhe, who is promoted by Ben Shalom. Does this mean we might get a repeat of what happened in the Fabio Wardley-Fraser Clark situation, whereby Ben Shalom, I have to assume, acting on the instructions of his broadcaster Sky, pulled Fraser Clark out of the fight because they didn't want to risk the fight ending up on DAZN, or they pulled him out of the purse bid, should I say, because they didn't want to risk losing the bid and the fight ended up on DAZN. Could that happen here with Jay Opetaia and Richard Riakporhe? Would Ben Shalom go against his word once again and deny one of his fighters an opportunity to fight for a world title by pulling Riakporhe out against Jay Opetaia because Sky are worried about the fight ending up on DAZN if it goes to a purse bid? Let me know what you guys think about it in the comments section below. I hope not. I like this fight. But bear in mind, Ben Shalom does have a cruiserweight champion already of his own in Chris Billam-Smith, a guy who Richard Riakporhe has beaten in the past. So that might be a road that they will choose to go down or prefer to go down, and perhaps they'll make Richard Riakporhe some type of promise or guarantee that will definitely get his title shot against Billam-Smith. Again, I hope that don't happen, but you have to entertain the possibility given what Ben Shalom did in the past with the Fabio Wardley-Fraser Clark purse bid. Anyway, as far as details of this deal that Jay Opetaia has just signed, now he split with his former promoter, Dean Lonergan. That was quite an acrimonious split. It went to court and all that kind of thing. But since then, he's hooked up with a different promotional outfit. It says here, I'm reading an article on ringtv.com. It says that it's an Australian promotional outfit called Tasman Fighters. And they have done a broadcast deal with DAZN, again, according to this article. But presumably, Tasman Fighters being a small promotional outfit, they're not going to get a particularly big budget off DAZN. And perhaps that's why they've decided to do this deal with Matchroom, whereby Jay Opetaia is co-promoted by Tasman Fighters and Matchroom, because Matchroom have got access to more of DAZN's funds. Now, this makes the fight taking place in Australia far more likely now, because without the clout of Matchroom, there was a good chance this would have happened in the UK. And surely Ben Shalom would have wanted that. Richard Riakporhe, I'm sure, would have wanted that as well, because Ben Shalom and Sky have got plenty of money. But now that Eddie Hearn and DAZN, well, DAZN were already involved by way of Tasman Fighters, but now that Eddie Hearn's bringing his clout to the table, it changes things, especially when you consider the fact that the champion, when he fights a mandatory, if it goes to a purse bid, he gets somewhere in the region of 70% of the purse. And that is dictated by the sanctioning body, in this case, the IBF. This is not like a unification. This is not like a voluntary defense, because in those situations, there are no purse bids. The percentages are worked out by the two teams. The nice thing about mandatories is that the sanctioning body sorts out the percentages. So that takes that point of contention out of the equation, makes things a bit smoother. But as I say, because Opetaia, the champion, is going to get something like 70% if it goes to a purse bid, it makes it difficult for Sky and Richard Riakporhe to outbid Matchroom. I mean, they might still do it, but it makes it more difficult for them. It de-incentivizes them doing that, because remember, they're only getting a percentage of Riakporhe's purse, and it's only going to be 30%. Do you know what I mean? So they're getting their percentage out of the 30% rather than Eddie Hearn, who's getting his percentage out of the 70%. Let's say Eddie Hearn's percentage is, I don't know, 20%. 20% of the 70 is bigger than 20% of the 30. Anyway, let's not confuse the audience with maths here. I didn't explain it that well. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about this situation and about this fight or potential fight. Assuming Ben Shalom doesn't pull Richard Riakporhe out of it, much higher likelihood it takes place in Australia now with Matchroom involved. Would that make a difference? Do you think that if the fight was in the UK, Richard Riakporhe would stand a better chance? Bear in mind, there is a big time difference between Australia and the UK. Some fighters deal with jet lag better than other fighters. And obviously Richard Riakporhe would have all his fans there and in his comfort zone, familiar surroundings. Whereas for Jay Opetaia, it will be the opposite. But now, potentially, you'll have Richard Riakporhe having to go out to Australia and having to deal with all of the issues I've just spoken about himself. Does that diminish his chances? You'd have to imagine it would. So, as I say, interesting situation. Let me know what you guys think about it.